December is really the month that passed by very, very quickly. The busiest time of the year. How do you manage it all? Saying no is saying yes to yourself. It saved me so much time, saved me so much headache. Hi everyone, happy holidays! I couldn't believe it. We are approaching probably the biggest celebration of all. How many people love to celebrate the Christmas? December is really the month that passed by very, very quickly. Don't you think? Every year I was like, oh my goodness, it's almost the end of the year, and before you know it, it's done. And I think part of the reason why it passed by so quickly is because it's probably, if you agree with me, the busiest time of the year because we're busy planning and celebrating this holiday. Every time when I look at my schedule, my December is always filled with so many obligation, work, as well as a lot of gathering. And because of that, that's why I want to talk to you how there are 5 things that I want to help you to reduce your stress so that you can fully enjoy the holiday. But before I give you any of the tips, I want to really emphasize that nothing is more important than health and well-being. It does not make sense to want to have this perfect holiday or perfect Christmas celebration and end up being stressed, sick, and not happy. And for that, I want to say number 1 is what I say to myself is managing expectation. Don't you think that during the holiday, we have this unrealistic picture that everything will be perfect? Our house looks spotless, looks beautiful, decorated with Christmas trees, present, and and we buy gifts for stocking, lots of food because we're going to eat it with our friends and family. And it is a lot on our plate. And on top of that, you're still working. If you have kids, your kids still needs you. How do you manage it all? You can't. And this is why it is so important to manage your expectation and set realistic expectation. Ask yourself, if you do celebrate Christmas, is what are the most important things that matters to you and your family, or matters to you and your health and your happiness? And for me was being with family. Is present important? Yeah, it can be, but it is not the most important. Or is preparing all these sumptuous meal important? Yes, but it is the most important, not necessarily. So that's why I want you to make this list, because everyone is different. So this list will be things I want to do or achieve for this Christmas season, or if you celebrate the holidays, right? So write them out. Then after that, circle the I must have it versus it was nice to have it. So let me give you an example. For most people, a must have it was set up the Christmas tree. For other people, it's nice to have a Christmas tree, but it's okay that I don't have a Christmas tree. It really depends on your household and depends on your thinking, right? So number 1 is really putting in that list to manage that expectation and setting that realistic expectation. Number 2, I often say it is very important, it's preparation. I get very stressed when I feel like everything is all over the place. And that's why for me, preparation means planning ahead. So if I look at my calendar and now that it's coming up in December, I ask myself how many gatherings I have, how many gatherings I have that are at home, or how many gatherings I have that are at my friend's house or my relative or family's place. So I want to write that out so that I can visually see my calendar as well as my personal work schedule and so forth. And let's suppose I decided that I'm going to host, say, 3 Christmas dinner or 3 holiday dinner at my house, and I will set up those dates. But those dates, it's best to kind of spread them out a little bit. Don't do it back to back, because we know we will be exhausted and you will not enjoy cooking. As much as I like cooking, I don't think I want to cook for 3 days in a row. So that's why planning ahead and setting a schedule and preparing and looking at your schedule realistically is so important. And once I put it in my schedule, the next thing is I'm going to start looking at recipes that I want to make. And after those recipes, I write them down. I literally create a menu, everything laid out. I actually prefer that way. And that's exactly what I do. I lay out everything, and this meal number 1, this is what I'm making. Meal number 2, this is what I'm making, and meal number 3 I'm making. And within each meal there are recipe, and within recipe there are ingredients. And I start to put an ingredient together because I don't shop in the one places. I shop in different places for different things. And because of that, I like to consolidate my grocery list. For example, if I want to pick up produce or meat from a certain meat place that I go to, I make a list for groceries for the meat list so that when I go there, I get exactly what I need from the meat section. If I want to get organic produce from certain section or certain supermarket, I make that list and I go there. You get everything you need so that there's no last minute that you need to run to a supermarket to pick up something that you missed from that recipe, and that will cause a lot of stress. Last minute shopping is stressful because the supermarket is always packed with people. So things that usually takes probably 10 minutes in and out probably ends up being half an hour because the lineup is long. So why do you want to get yourself in that? And all you have to do is start with planning ahead. Number 3, most people don't realize it, is I think you need to set some time for self-care. Yes, busy time, self-care, what are you talking about? I don't even have time for that. And because you don't have time for that, it is even more important to prioritize that. So in my Christmas or in my December schedule, I actually block off some time for me to just not do anything. I need that self-care time for me to unwind so that I'm preparing for the next gathering or whatever that is the case. But if I don't have these sprinkles of self-care in my schedule, I will burn myself out, and by the end of the year, I'm exhausted working or moving towards the new year. When you're exhausted, you tend to be more negative, you tend to be more moody, you're not happy, but it is the holiday of joyous celebration. Why should you be like moody and not happy? So number 4, I think is also very important that go in line with the self-care, is know how to set boundary. This is something that I am learning, and I'm still learning it, is to say no. In the past, I have a tendency to say yes to everything. And that means if I have different friends who invite me to different gathering, I would say yes to them on top of the gathering with my kids' friends' family. So can you imagine how many gathering is that? And as much as I love gathering, it is very tiring because you're literally not home. You're literally working. Then you rush to get present, and then you rush to go to a gathering. Then the next day repeats again. It is very, very stressful. In the past, I often volunteer to make dishes because I love to cook and I love to share these healthy dishes to people, telling them how easy it is and how delicious it can be. So I always volunteer. Yeah, I can cook. Boy, am I wrong. I shouldn't be doing that because I end up very stressed because it's a lot of things to cook. So I learned to set boundaries, and I want you to learn to set boundaries. And saying no means saying yes to yourself. Let me repeat that again. Saying no is saying yes to yourself and saying yes to self-care. Like I said before, the number 1 priority is your well-being and your health during the holiday. And number 5, last but not least, it's okay to ask for help. This is also my challenge because growing up as being the oldest in my family, I have always used to taking care of everybody and doing everything myself. So asking for help is actually quite hard. So I learned for me to reduce my stress and for me to say no and for me to set expectation, I need to ask for help. And how do you ask for help? For example, if I were to say I'm hosting a Christmas dinner, and if I look at my schedule and it's very packed and I'm busy with my work, I'm hosting it, that means people are coming to my house, but it does not mean I need to prepare every single dishes. So I would offer and even ask my friends or my family who is coming over is let's do a potluck. I will do X, Y, and Z, and you guys can bring dessert, or I will prepare the turkey, you bring the dessert, or I'll make the dessert and you bring something else. So I ask for help in that sense where everyone bring a dish that they love and we all get to enjoy and relax. Another thing that I ask for help is about present. I know, I'm not sure about you. As much as everybody loves receiving present, we know buying the right gift can be challenging. Sometimes I felt that we're so blessed and privileged that we have everything. So sometimes to buy a gift for a friend or a family member, it's actually challenging because you don't even know what else they need because they have everything. This is what I do, and I find that it's so helpful, and that's asking for help, is by actually saying to my friends. It took me a long time to say, can we not do gift exchange this year? And people often say, why? The reason why is because there's a lot of us, right? And we have so much already. We really don't need anything. But in the whole spirit of giving, we can still do it. But instead of everyone buying gift for everyone, for the sake of buying, why don't we just do one gift and we do a draw, and whoever pick up that gift, voila, that's your gift. So that's what we did, and honestly, it saved me so much time, saved me so much headache. So I hope these 5 tips help you, because it has helped me so much over the last few years, because now my Christmas is so much less stressful. Hopefully you try them. You let me know of all those 5 tips, which one you have already done and loving it, or maybe you have other tips to help you reduce your stress, and I would love to hear from you. Like, comment, and subscribe, and if you find these messages are helpful, especially to your friends and family who are always stressed, I think these tips will help them so much. And as always, 食得有型，活得健康. I'll see you next time. Bye everyone.